And let's bring you live visuals from Varanasi, where French President Emmanuel Macron and the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi have just arrived for his scheduled visit. It will be shortly after his arrival in Varanasi that the two will head to Mirzapur, the neighboring district of Varanasi, to inaugurate a solar power plant, following which the French President is expected to return in Varanasi to join the boat ride along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two leaders will jointly inaugurate Uttar Pradesh's largest solar power plant in the Mirzapur district. They will also visit the Deen Dayal Hastkala Sankul, a trade facilitation center in Varanasi. As you can see, the Prime Minister has already received the French President Emmanuel Macron, who has arrived by a special plane at the Lal Bahadur Shastri International Airport in Varanasi. And these are live visuals now coming in from Mirzapur, the neighboring district to Varanasi, where the French President and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate a solar power plant. It will be a 75 megawatt solar plant. And shortly after this inauguration, the two are expected to leave Mirzapur, while the French President is expected to return to Varanasi to join the Indian Prime Minister for a boat ride. And as you can see, these are live visuals of the inauguration finally taking place. This is the inauguration of the much anticipated solar power plant. It is a 75 megawatt solar plant being inaugurated by the French President. As we all know that the solar energy has been very, very integral to India and France ties, as the International Solar Alliance Summit just took place yesterday with over 20 countries joining the summit. These are live visuals being streamed from Mirzapur, where the French President and the Indian Prime Minister are inaugurating the solar power plant. These are live visuals coming in from Mirzapur, and as we told you earlier, solar energy has been one of the top agendas between India and France ties. It was just yesterday that the International Solar Alliance Summit took place, which was co-chaired by the French President Emmanuel Macron. And today it is the inauguration of this solar power plant in Mirzapur, which is a 75 megawatt solar plant. And to give more details on this news story, I'm joined in by Kartikeya Sharma, who's joining us live from the newsroom. Kartikeya, how integral is solar energy to India-France ties, keeping in mind that the International Solar Alliance just took place yesterday, you know, the summit of which took place yesterday?
So, you know, it just reminds me of the way that the South Bloc actually engaged with Justin Trudeau's when he came India, both Macron and Justin Trudeau. They're part of the younger leadership of when it comes to Western Europe, Northern America. They're not only younger, but they represent liberal democracies, and they have been able to survive in a world where populist leaders like Putin or even authoritarian like Xi Jinping, Duterte, Thailand's premier, Kabila from Congo, or you know, the world of Mugabe, though he's not there, they have come to dominate the, or even the Mudra of South America, they have come to dominate the political landscape. In that context, it just goes on to show that they have invested quite a lot of time, quite a lot of energy with the French counterpart, which was not there with Canada, because I think the whole issue of terrorism somehow, I don't think the Canadians were able to understand the importance which Indians were giving of the expat population getting radicalized and internationally trying to tarnish India's image. But if you look at the cooperation which has happened between the French and Indians, I would say that the France has the potential to emerge as a new Russia, new Soviet Union, because it's not as if that India was always dependent upon Soviet Russia. Yes, certain military components were Russian, most of them, for example, nuclear power plants or the submarines or the weapon or the fighter planes. But over a period of time, India diversified when it came to Israel, when it came to France, when it came to United States of America. We were trying to draw a military component from various countries. So in this context, the deepening of ties between India and France is a good step, whether it comes to nuclear technology, whether it comes to military technology, and especially nuclear technology. We have to factor in that though the France is not making many nuclear power plants, 45 to 46% of energy in France is actually derived from the nuclear complexes, which is highest in the world. America is somewhere around 15%, other countries are bare minimum, India is around 2-3%. So that way there is a lot to be gained by this cooperation. Solar Alliance, as you asked me, it's about renewable energy. It's about the fact that India is a big country, sunny country, and there should be an attempt to focus more on renewable energy. Look what's happening in Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. Narmada has actually shrunk because of lack of rain in catchment area. Water cannot be supplied. There's a controversy which has taken place in Gujarat that half of the treatable water was diverted to Sabarmati water fund. So in that context, renewable energy is very, very important. And I think for me, it's both politics and personality. To have all vegetarian Banarsi thali or to go for a boat ride, spend a day. It's like a personal commitment which he showed with Netanyahu, but he did not do that with Justin Trudeau, which means that in terms of foreign policy, if India feels that certain issues are not being addressed in India's interest, we can also be very, to use the word, rigid in giving right message, and I think Trudeau's dispensation got it. And yes, it also reflects another thing. Unlike UPA this time around, a lot of foreign dignitaries are going out. Generally they would make a detour to Taj, but under the new dispensation they go to Ahmedabad, they go to Banaras, the meetings are also taking place outside Delhi, which is something Akansha knew. There's better photo optics. There's an element of personal chemistry. The only time you could see that in a flash or flashes was when Dr. Manmohan Singh told Bush Senior that people of India love you, and it created a controversy back at home. So apart from that, I would say that it's an investment which India is making in a world which is becoming again multipolar. It's not a unipolar world after Soviet Union disintegrated. It's a multipolar world with a resurgent China and extremely active Russia and an insular United States of America.
Right. Karthika, also, since they are inaugurating the solar power plant, let's talk about renewable energy and how integral, France is to renewable energy, not just in terms of solar energy, but it is also an active promoter of, when it comes to curbing global greenhouse emissions. So how important is it for India to collaborate with France, keeping these factors in mind?
I think it's very, very important. You see, renewable energy becomes far more important in countries which are densely populated, countries which have high rural distress, countries where water is scarce, countries where you have a depletion of groundwater, you have problem of good quality of air because of emissions, and they still want to develop. That's the problem. That's where renewable energy comes in. And what is renewable energy? It's water. It's sunlight, it's wind, it's waves, perhaps 2 or 3 more things. But I don't think that we have made that much of an investment apart from certain hilly areas in turbine. We have not made that investment, which is far more complex, the coastal wave technology. But yes, we have made some investments in solar power plant. And I think that is something which we can look forward to in terms of water. We have done that. That's the maximum exploited renewable energy in terms of hydroelectric power plants. But all the hydroelectric power plants have life because dams have a shelf life. They get sedimented over a period of time. But solar panels, they can only rust away, but the same place can be again used. And I think that's the important part of it. And I think that's the reason why. And they have chosen Mirzapur because unlike other parts of Uttar Pradesh, there are a couple of areas in UP which are sparsely populated. So you don't have a problem of land acquisition anyway. A bill which is, is in cold storage in Parliament, despite being passed, it had to go again because the whole issue got politicized in this tenure after Sud Boot ki jibe by Rahul Gandhi. So that way, but for me, I would again say that France has the potential to emerge as new Russia for India in terms of technology and in terms of cooperation on terrorism. And that way for India to have a closer tie with France is always good.
Right. Thank you so much, Karthike, for joining us live from the newsroom and adding that precious perspective. France indeed seems to be having the potential to emerge as the new Russia for India. On that note, it's a wrap for this news broadcast.